The UES Nemesis moved through the black emptiness of space. The ship looked simple from the outside, hiding its true power within. Admiral Ju Park stood tall on the bridge, watching the approaching diplomatic ship with careful eyes. "Status report," she said in a firm voice. Lieutenant Do-Yeon Kim worked quickly at his station. "The Coalition ambassadors are ready to come aboard, Admiral. This is our first real meeting since Earth joined the Galactic Coalition." Admiral Park gave a small nod. Earth had only recently entered galactic politics, but they had made a strong impression. The Nemesis, the best ship humans had ever built, had helped Earth gain respect among the stars. "Sir," Tactical Officer Suman Lee said with worry in her voice, "strange ships coming from Sector 7. They won't answer our calls." The main screen changed to show 3 scary-looking ships. Their outer shells had strange marks and signs of many battles. "Coalition Command is sending us information," Hyo-Yun said. "They say these are Vax Theory ships. They weren't expected here." The alien ships came closer, moving as if they feared nothing. When they finally answered the call, their commander appeared on screen. He was tall and lizard-like, wearing fancy armor. He looked down at the humans with clear dislike. "So the Coalition has found another weak species," he said with a hiss. "I am Commander Thex of the Vax Theory Dominion. You will show yourselves for testing." Admiral Park kept her face calm. "This is Admiral Ju Park of the United Earth ship Nemesis. We come in peace." The Vax Theory's eyes became thin slits. "Peace is only for those who deserve it. Prove your worth or be ruled." The ship's crew worked through the next hours, trying to talk with the Vax Theory. But the aliens only made threats that they barely tried to hide. The humans stayed polite but firm. During a break in the talks, Admiral Park walked to the ship's observation deck. She stood looking at the stars, thinking about what she had learned. The Vax Theory were warriors who respected only strength. They saw Earth as just another weak world to add to their list of conquests. "Admiral," said a voice behind her. It was Commander Hanjin, her second in command. "The diplomatic team says the Vax Theory are getting more aggressive. They keep asking about our weapons." "They're testing us," Park said. "They want to know if we're weak." Hanjin looked troubled. "Should we show them some of what the Nemesis can do?" Park shook her head. "Not yet. Let them think what they want." Back on the bridge, the talks continued. The Vax Theory became more bold, making demands that no self-respecting world would accept. "Your species is young," Commander Thex said. "You need guidance. The Vax Theory can provide this, for a price." Before Admiral Park could answer, Lieutenant Do-Yeon turned from his station with alarm. "Admiral, emergency transmission from Coalition Outpost 7. They're under attack." The screen changed to show a small space station with ships firing on it. The attackers had the same markings as the Vax Theory ships in front of them. "What is this?" Park demanded, looking at Commander Thex. The Vax Theory smiled, showing sharp teeth. "This is how we test new species, human. We see if they can protect themselves." His image disappeared from the screen. "Sir, the Vax Theory ships are powering engines," Suman reported. Through the view screen, they watched as the 3 alien ships turned and sped away, heading toward the jump point that would take them to the attacked outpost. "Alert all crew. Battle stations," Park ordered, her voice steady despite her anger. "Navigation. Set course for Outpost 7. Maximum speed." As the crew rushed to their positions, Admiral Park sat in her command chair. The Vax Theory had shown their true nature. They thought humans were weak and easy to intimidate. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "The Vax Theory ships have entered the jump point," Admiral Do-Yeon reported. "Follow them," Park ordered. "It's time to show these aliens exactly what humanity's deadliest warship can do." The Nemesis turned toward the jump point, its engines glowing brighter as it accelerated. The first test of humanity in galactic politics had begun, and Admiral Park intended to make sure it would be remembered for a very long time. Admiral Park stood quietly as the coalition representatives filled the war room of the Nemesis. The alien diplomats looked tired and worried. Their normally bright colors seemed dull under the room's lights. "They've taken 3 systems in 6 days," Coalition Representative Taeyong reported. His voice was heavy with concern. "The Vax theory haven't been this aggressive in centuries." Admiral Park studied the star map that filled the center of the room. Red marks showed planets under attack. Too many red marks. "What do we know about their capabilities?" she asked, her eyes not leaving the map. "They're conquerors," Taeyong said. The blue-skinned alien clasped his 4-fingered hands together nervously. "Most coalition species avoid fighting them. Their ships and weapons are very impressive. But what?" Park looked up, sensing his hesitation. Taeyong shifted uncomfortably. "Our first scans suggest the Nemesis might be better than their ships." The room went quiet. Everyone knew what that meant. The Nemesis wasn't just another warship. It was humanity's greatest achievement, a vessel with technologies that even most humans didn't fully understand. Its brain was an adaptive AI that could learn and change during battle. Its shields used quantum science to link particles across space. Its engines bent the rules of physics in ways that made other species stare in wonder. "Admiral," Communications Officer Hyjinba's voice came through the speakers. "We're getting an emergency call from Outpost Theta." The meeting ended quickly. Within minutes, the Nemesis jumped to light speed, racing toward the outpost. When they arrived, the crew could only stare at the destruction. Outpost Theta had been a busy trading station with over 5,000 people. Now it was mostly ruins. Parts of it still burned despite the vacuum of space. Broken ships floated nearby like dead fish in a pond. "Life signs?" Admiral Park asked, her voice tight with anger. "Some survivors in the central hub," Lieutenant Do-Yun reported. "About 200 people." "Send rescue teams immediately," Park ordered. As the Nemesis launched rescue shuttles, a signal cut through all communication channels. Commander Thex's face appeared on screens across the ship. The Vax theory looked pleased with himself. "Humans," his voice was cold like ice. "You hide behind your coalition friends. Face us directly if you dare. Soft creatures like you don't deserve to be among the stars." The message ended, but its challenge remained. Admiral Park looked at her senior officers gathered on the bridge. "They want to see what we can do," she said quietly. "I think it's time we showed them." Later that night, Admiral Park sat alone in her quarters. She looked at pictures of Earth, blue oceans, green forests, white clouds, humanity's home. She had been born on a colony world, but Earth still meant everything to her. A soft knock came at her door. "Enter," she called. Commander Hanjin stepped in. "The survivors are all aboard, Admiral. Their stories." He paused, his face showing his anger. "The Vax theory gave no warning. They destroyed civilian ships trying to escape." Park nodded sadly. "They're testing us. They want to see if we'll run away like other species have." "What will we do?" Hanjin asked. Admiral Park stood up and straightened her uniform. "The Coalition wants us to wait for their fleet to gather. That would take weeks. By then, the Vax theory will have taken more systems, killed more people. So we're going after them alone," Hanjin said. It wasn't a question. "Yes, prepare the ship for battle. Tell the crew to rest while they can." The next morning, the Nemesis moved away from the ruined outpost. Its engines glowed brighter than usual as it accelerated to full speed. On the bridge, Admiral Park sat in her command chair. The crew worked quietly around her, each person focused on their task. "We've detected the Vax theory fleet, Admiral," Tactical Officer Suman reported. "They're attacking the mining colony on Helios IV. 7 warships. 7 against 1, Lieutenant Do-Yun said quietly. Admiral Park's face showed no fear. "Send a message to Commander Thex. Tell him the Nemesis accepts his challenge. We will meet him in the Helios system." As the message was sent, A small smile appeared on the Admiral's face. "Navigation. Set course for Helios. Maximum speed," she ordered. It's time the Vaxtheri learned that challenging humanity was their biggest mistake. The great ship turned toward distant stars, its powerful engines pushing it faster than any coalition ship had ever traveled. The challenge had been made. The answer was on its way. Sub-Commander Relk stood on the bridge of the Vaxtheri warship Conqueror. He watched the small dot on the screen grow larger as it approached. It was the human ship they had challenged. One ship. He laughed, showing his sharp teeth. Against our battle group. Around him, other Vaxtheri officers joined in his laughter. The Vaxtheri had conquered many worlds. They had made many species bow to them. Now these humans thought they could fight with just one ship. Commander Thex did not laugh. He stared at the screen with narrowed eyes. "There's something strange about this vessel," he said slowly. "The energy readings are not normal." Relk shook his head. "They are just humans, soft creatures who only recently found their way to the stars." On the bridge of the Nemesis, Admiral Park sat calmly in her command chair. The ship moved deeper into the Harken Nebula, where the Vaxtheri fleet waited. The colorful gases of the nebula filled the view screen. "They're scanning us," Admiral, reported Science Officer Jano Kang from his station. Admiral Park nodded. "Let them look." Minje, begin evasive pattern echo. Suman, ready defensive systems only. Navigator Minja Ryu's hands moved quickly over his controls. The Nemesis changed course, diving toward the nebula's edge, where thick gas clouds could hide them. 5 Vaxtheri warships moving to stop us, Tactical Officer Suman called out. "They're charging weapons." "Hold steady," Park said. "Let's show them what the Nemesis can do." The Vaxtheri fired first. Bright beams of energy cut through space toward the human ship. But where the Nemesis had been a moment before, there was now only empty space. The ship had moved with impossible speed. "How did they?" Relk began. "Fire again," Commander Thex ordered. Again the Vaxtheri ships fired. Again they hit nothing but gas clouds and empty space. On the Nemesis, Lieutenant Doyun watched his displays with excitement. The AI is tracking their firing patterns. Adaptation complete. What happened next amazed even the human crew. The ship's artificial brain analyzed how the Vaxtheri attacked. It predicted where they would fire next. Then it moved the ship to safety before the aliens even pressed their firing buttons. The Nemesis danced through the nebula like a ghost. When Vaxtheri energy beams did hit the ship, its special shields absorbed the power without damage. "Impossible," Relk shouted as his weapons had no effect. "No ship can move like that." Thex watched with growing fear. The human ship was doing things his people had thought impossible. It moved in ways that broke the rules of space as they understood them. "Admiral, we have clear shots at 3 of their ships," Suman reported. Park nodded. "Target their weapon systems only. Disable, don't destroy." The Nemesis fired. Its beams hit with perfect accuracy. On the first Vaxtheri ship, weapon systems shut down. Then the second ship lost power to its guns. The third ship tried to turn away, but the Nemesis was too fast. "They could destroy us," Relk said in shock, "but they're only taking out our weapons." Thex hit his control panel in anger. "All ships, retreat. Fall back to safe distance." As the Vaxtheri ships turned to run, Thex spotted something on his screen. A small human science ship was hiding in the nebula, watching the battle. "There," he shouted. "Capture that vessel." The Conqueror changed course suddenly. It raced toward the small science ship and caught it in a tractor beam before it could escape. "Commander, the human warship is turning toward us," an officer reported with fear. "Jump to light speed now," Thex ordered. The Conqueror disappeared into space, taking the small human ship with it. On the Nemesis, Admiral Park watched the Vaxtheri ships escape. "Should we pursue, Admiral?" Minje asked. "No," Park said, her face hard with anger. "Let them run. But they took the science vessel Galileo with them. 20 human scientists are now in Vax Theory hands. The bridge grew quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. "Send a message to Earth Command," Park ordered. "Tell them what happened here. And tell them we're going after our people." Commander Hanjin stepped closer to her chair. "The Vax Theory will be waiting for us. They'll have their entire fleet ready." Admiral Park stood up. "Let them prepare. Let them gather every ship they have." She looked around at her crew. "It won't be enough." As the Nemesis turned away from the nebula, Lieutenant Doyon reported, "The AI has finished analyzing all Vax Theory weapons and tactics. Admiral, we're ready for them now." Park nodded. "Set course for Vax Theory space. It's time they learned that taking human prisoners was the biggest mistake they could have made." Admiral Park waited as the Coalition Council members whispered among themselves. The large meeting room on Coalition Station Alpha was filled with representatives from 20 different species. Many looked worried. "The Vax Theory will study everything they've captured," Coalition Intelligence Officer Taeyong warned. His blue skin looked pale under the bright lights. "Your technology, your biology. They'll look for any weakness they can find." Admiral Park stood tall before them. "That's why we must act quickly. The Nemesis can enter their territory without being seen. We'll rescue our people and show the Vax Theory that attacking humanity has serious consequences." An elderly reptilian counselor shook his head. "Impossible. No ship can enter Vax Theory space undetected. Their sensor networks cover every approach." Park nodded to her science officer, Chuno, who pressed a button on his tablet. The room's main screen changed to show the Nemesis disappearing from view. "What Coalition scans missed," Park explained, "is that the Nemesis has advanced stealth systems. We can become nearly invisible to all known detection methods." The council members stared in amazement. Some looked impressed. Others looked afraid of what humans could build. 3 days later, the Nemesis slipped silently through Vax Theory space. The mighty ship moved between enemy patrol routes like a shadow. On the bridge, the crew worked in tense silence. Approaching the research facility, Navigator Minja reported quietly, "No sign they've detected us." Admiral Park nodded. "Prepare the rescue team. Commander Hanjin will lead the mission." As the team prepared, Science Officer Chuno showed the crew what his scans had revealed about the Vax Theory homeworld. "Their whole society is built for war," he explained, displaying images of tall buildings shaped like weapons and giant statues of Vax Theory warriors. Every structure celebrates military victories. They've never met a species they couldn't eventually defeat. Lieutenant Doyon looked troubled. Until now. The rescue team left the Nemesis in a small shuttle. The shuttle used the same stealth technology as the main ship, making it invisible to Vax Theory sensors. It landed silently on the roof of the research facility. Commander Hanjin led his team through the building's air ducts. They moved quickly but carefully. When they reached the prison section, they found the 20 human scientists locked in cells. The scientists looked tired but unharmed. "Commander Hanjin," one scientist whispered with joy. "How did you find us?" "No time to explain," Hanjin replied. "We need to move fast." The team disabled the cell doors and helped the scientists out. They made their way back to the roof without being seen. The shuttle was waiting. "Mission accomplished, Admiral," Hanjin reported as the shuttle lifted off. All scientists recovered safely. On the bridge of the Nemesis, Admiral Park allowed herself a small smile. "Well done, Commander. Return to the ship. We'll jump to safety as soon as you're aboard." But as the shuttle approached the Nemesis, a small sensor dish on the research facility turned toward them. It had detected a heat signature from the shuttle's engines. Alarms screamed across the facility. Red lights flashed. Vax Theory soldiers ran to battle stations. "They've seen us," Tactical Officer Suman called out. "Vax Theory ships are powering up all across the system." The shuttle docked with the Nemesis just as the first enemy ships appeared on sensors. Admiral Park ordered immediate departure, but more Vax Theory vessels jumped into the area with each passing minute. 200 enemy ships detected, Suman reported, her voice tight. More arriving. Lieutenant Do-Yum looked up from his console with wide eyes. Admiral, one of the ships is massive. It's twice the size of any Vax Theory vessel we've seen before. The giant ship moved to the center of the Vax Theory fleet. Its shape reminded Park of an ancient Earth predator, a shark, sleek and deadly. Unknown vessel, a deep voice boomed through the ship's speakers. It sounded older and more commanding than Commander Thex's. This is Supreme Commander Krex of the Vax Theory Dominion. Your existence ends here. Admiral Park stood from her chair. Around her, the crew looked to her for guidance. The scientists they had rescued were safe below decks, but now the Nemesis itself was trapped. All hands to battle stations, Park ordered calmly. Activate all defensive systems. Admiral, Communications Officer Hyjin said, Supreme Commander Krex is demanding our surrender. He says they will study our ship and use our crew for experiments. Park's eyes narrowed. She had hoped to avoid a major confrontation, but the Vax Theory had left them no choice. Open a channel to Supreme Commander Krex, she said. When Krex's reptilian face appeared on screen, Admiral Park spoke clearly and without fear. This is Admiral Ju Park of the UES Nemesis. We came for our people. We have them now. Stand aside and let us leave peacefully, or face the consequences. Krex laughed, showing rows of sharp teeth. Brave words from someone about to die. You have one chance to surrender. Park ended the transmission and turned to her crew. Prepare all systems. It's time to show the Vax Theory exactly what humanity's deadliest warship can do. Supreme Commander Krex's face filled the main screen of the Nemesis. His scales seemed to glow with anger. Behind him, hundreds of Vax Theory warships surrounded the human vessel. You have 10 of your Earth minutes to surrender, Krex said. His voice was cold and certain. Your ship will be studied. Your crew will serve us. This is the natural order of things. On the Nemesis bridge, Admiral Park looked at her crew. She saw no fear in their eyes, only determination. Unlock all systems, she ordered. Authorization Park Omega-7. Lieutenant Do-Yun entered the code into his console. Throughout the huge ship, machines that had been sleeping came to life. The Nemesis had powers that no one outside of Earth had seen before. Not even their coalition friends knew what the ship could really do. All systems active, Admiral, Do-Yun reported. Park nodded and turned back to the screen. We offer you one chance, Commander Krex. Take your ships away and free all the worlds you have attacked, or face the consequences. Krex laughed. You are brave, human, but bravery will not save you today. The screen went dark. Seconds later, the space around the Nemesis lit up as hundreds of Vax Theory ships fired at once. But something strange happened. The energy beams hit the Nemesis's shields and then bounced back. The ship's special quantum shields didn't just stop attacks. They sent them back where they came from. Defensive systems running at full capacity, Science Officer Chuno called out. The computer is calculating optimal response patterns. The Nemesis began to move. Despite its size, it flew between enemy shots with perfect timing. The ship's brain knew where each attack would go before the Vax Theory even fired. They're surrounding us, Admiral, Tactical Officer Suman reported. Deploy countermeasures, Park ordered calmly. From the Nemesis, dozens of small devices launched into space, each one headed toward a different Vax Theory ship. When they reached their targets, they attached to the enemy hulls and sent out electromagnetic pulses. One by one, Vax Theory ships lost power. On the bridge of his flagship, Supreme Commander Krex watched in horror as his mighty fleet became useless chunks of metal. Keep firing, he ordered. Use all weapons. But nothing worked. The Nemesis avoided every attack. Its countermeasures disabled ship after ship without killing anyone. Within 20 minutes, 300 Vax Theory vessels floated helplessly in space. Impossible, Krex whispered as Admiral Park's face appeared on his screen again. The Vax theory respects strength, Park said. So understand this. We could have destroyed your entire fleet. We could have killed everyone on your ships. Instead, we chose to show mercy. Join the coalition as equals, or face total defeat the next time you threaten peace. Krex stared at her. For the first time in his long life, he felt fear. Who are you humans? What are you? We are the people who will be your friends or your worst nightmare, Park answered. The choice is yours. 3 weeks later, Admiral Park stood in the Great Hall of Coalition headquarters. Around her, representatives from all member species watched as the Vax Theory delegation signed the Coalition Charter. The mighty conquerors had chosen peace. As the Nemesis journeyed back to Earth, Communications Officer Hyjin joined Admiral Park on the observation deck. The Coalition species look at us differently now, Hyjin said quietly. They're afraid of us. Admiral Park shook her head. No, they respect us, and they understand what humanity has always known. True strength is shown by when you choose not to use your power, not by how often you show it off. The Nemesis entered Earth's solar system 3 days later. As the blue planet came into view on the main screen, the crew stood a little straighter. They had faced the galaxy's most feared warriors and taught them an important lesson. In his quarters, Lieutenant Doyun wrote in his personal log, "Today we return home as heroes." The Vax Theory thought humans were weak because we talk about peace. They learned that we prefer peace not because we fear war, but because we are so good at it. The Nemesis never fired a single shot that would kill. That is humanity's real strength, the power to destroy combined with the wisdom not to. As Earth grew larger in the view screen, Admiral Park allowed herself a small smile. The crew of the Nemesis had protected their people, rescued their friends, and changed the balance of power in the galaxy forever. And they had done it the human way, with both strength and mercy. The Nemesis, humanity's deadliest warship, had made the stars a safer place for everyone.